GSL. You keep on crying to me, saying you're gonna leave. Well, now if you're gonna go.
Welcome back to the GSL Code A. If you missed our first part of today, we had some fantastic PvPs and some PvTs. SOS moving on.
Yeah.
At the very end, our Terran player.
Yeah.
Barely getting out.
Reality there,
Reality.
man. Yeah.
Really nicely done.
Really solid play.
In fact, the last best of 3, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it was actually the best series of the first group.
Yeah, easily.
Now we're starting our evening group tonight, and we have Life here, one of our classic GSL players who's a Royal Roader, still always been a high skill cap player. I don't even know what that means, what I just said, but he's like really, really good.
He's really solid.
His potential was never fully realized, I guess. This
is one of our marathon days today. We already got done, as we were saying.
This is one of my marathon weeks.
Casting 4 hours. Code A days are usually 9 hours for us, so we're halfway through that here today. But if you're watching now, you're probably watching at the usual time.
Yes.
When we do start the casts. But if you did want to see the older games, the VODs will all be up by the end of today. And they were some great games, actually.
Yeah.
Some of the better Code A games you can ask to see.
Definitely really good games. And another Terran gets through in reality. So I think that puts us at 6 Terran players currently in Code S. So that's actually pretty good compared to what we've had in the past. And we still have a few more to get through potentially coming forward.
Historically, Terrans this year have not been doing well. This is our 3rd and final season for Code A and soon to be Code S here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Terran's just not having as much presence. We are having, again here, Protoss is still, just with the sheer number of Protosses that are here, we should bank on them. Right. Most of them getting through here again.
Exactly. I mean, we have a lot of Protosses in Code A in general because of the mostly Protoss ratio in Code S. It stands to reason that with some groups having 3 Protosses, some of them even like 4 Protosses, obviously some Protosses have to fall down to somewhere, and we're kind of picking up the pieces right now. So it's that filter system.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at who's gotten through so far. 6 Terrans, I was right on that. 12 Protoss and 8 Zerg. So a total of 26 players. We've got 6 players left. 2 more in this group, and then 4 more tomorrow to decide the final 32.
These Protoss players, a lot of new faces here for, I'm sure, many of you guys at home, but all these guys very talented. You look at the Zergs here. All these Zerg players, basically household names if you follow a lot of StarCraft II.
Yeah.
And our Terran players, you couldn't ask for better heroes, better guys to root for Terran to do well here.
Speaking of hero, by the way, he didn't get out of our group that we had a little bit earlier.
Our Protoss player hero losing first, actually.
Yeah, he dropped out in 4th place. A bit shocking.
Yeah.
Going 1-4 in the group, only taking 1 single set there. Not his best day, and he had a bit of a rough time there at the end of Pro League playoffs as well.
It started out pretty rough with him in the PvP against SOS.
Yeah.
He had a Phoenix opening, which was just hard countered brutally by the 3-Stalker Rush.
Yeah.
And the games from there, I thought he picked it up a little bit more in the PvTs.
Yeah.
But it was not enough to cut it.
No, definitely not. He just struggled there a little bit in the end. And I mean, props to Reality for taking it all the way home, beating at the very end there, Super. I was going to say Vampire. I couldn't remember his new ID for some reason. Super was able to beat him.
They sound just similar enough when they come out.
Yeah,
here.
like it's pretty much the same person. The ID is totally the same. The same image comes to mind. So let's take a look at today's matches to remind you guys.
I'm like, they do not come. They're not the same.
Yeah, Super and Vampire. Like when you think Super,
they both have purrs, or you think of vampires having superpowers.
When I see the S on Superman's chest, I think, well, he's obviously a vampire. He's obviously a vampire. That's what he's broadcasting to the world.
On to today's matches here. We have Rogue against Bunny, Life against Stats. From there, it'll be just like any other GSL, where we have the winner's match, loser's match, and then the final match to see who will be our last survivor here.
So we're going to take a look at our Code S schedule coming up here. So you guys can see exactly what days. You can see the schedule has changed. It was announced yesterday. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, and then a special day on the 22nd for the group selection, which will not be broadcast in English. At least that's the plan right now. That could change in the future.
This is all subject to change here. Our schedule is shifting just slightly here.
And there's no Thursday match on the 28th, so maybe screenshot this, put it on your calendar.
Put it as your wallpaper on your PC.
Put it as your wallpaper on your PC.
There you go. Print it out. Put it as wallpaper in your house.
It's also important to note, I guess, the reason why the schedule has changed is because of Korean Thanksgiving, otherwise known as Chuseok, is coming up in September.
Yep.
So in order to accompany the players, make sure they can go home and visit their families and whatnot, the schedule's been shifted slightly.
It's basically, as far as Western holidays go, that's like Christmas. You know,
it's like Christmas and Thanksgiving combined, basically.
Yeah, to make a super holiday, if you will.
Yeah.
And we will not be having StarCraft II then. There won't be much going on in Korea then.
That is the case.
Yeah. Everything shuts down here. Seoul might be a 24-hour city every week out of the year except for one, and that's Chuseok, and that's we're going to be taking some time off there. Into our matches here today, we have a lot of great players of all three races here.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting to see who actually does come out. We've seen Protosses, as we've said before, doing very well here.
Yeah, we certainly have. Not all Protosses have gotten through, as we've seen even earlier today, but a pretty decent amount of them getting through, making up most of Code S right now. And the fact of the matter is there's a lot of new Protoss talent that suddenly come up to be at this level.
Even over the past 13 months, 14 months, we've seen so many new Protosses come out and dominate. It's really interesting. Normally when you have a race that's doing really well, it's usually like 2 or 3 guys. And it's almost like those players are doing well, and a lot of times people would say, oh, the race is strong or this or that, but usually it's just 2 or 3 players. In this case, we've had like a dozen great Protosses come up. Not all become champions, but enough to make a big splash here.
Right. I mean,
that it's really something.
Some of them have become champions. Look at Zest. Look at Classic. Sure. And even before that, Deer coming out of kind of nowhere and impressing a lot of people.
I was joking early on with Artosis back when we had our first tournament with Deer, and I was saying, would it be crazy if that guy won? I mean, he just seems like such the dark horse, and then he actually managed to do it. And we've got a lot of great Protosses now that could do the same thing here in this upcoming Code S.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Some of these players coming out of Code A could go all the way once Code S starts. It's really important to know, and I talked a lot with Artosis about this yesterday, for those players losing today, for some of them, it means no more real Korean tournaments or live TV broadcasts and matches for the rest of the year.
We enter into the esports off season, I guess you could say, which is about the last 2 months of the year, November and December, where there's just not a lot of events. So, I mean, really, this is a very hot period right now.
Sure.
For the careers and the futures of these pro gamers is, if they get eliminated, some of them today, there's nowhere near as many matches for them to participate in. Anyways, on to our first best of 3 for the second half of today here in the GSL Code A. We're going to have Rogue against Bunny. Now, if you've seen the ID Bunny before, there's also non-Korean Bunny in the European scene.
Yes.
Also very good with Terran, but these are not the same players.
They're very different.
So, going into this match, these guys are fairly evenly matched, both very good. We'll have to see what happens here. Oh, wow, we're speeding right through this. Game number 1, and our first best of 3 ready to go with Rogue against Bunny. In the center left, we have
GSL Green Wings.
Low. That's about how you say it. In the upper right, in the red, our Terran player, he is
CJ&2's Bunny.
All right, much better.
Now, Bunny is actually known for just very recently having a pretty solid TVZ, very aggressive bio style in Pro League. We'll see how he does here. I think Rogue is favored, but Bunny either has a really good day or he has a little off day. He's kind of like Keen in that regard. You're never really sure which Bunny you're going to get. Could be a hare or a rabbit today. We don't know.
Is there a difference between hares and rabbits?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't know what it is. It's like hares, rabbits, or bunnies, man. Which one?
Wait, I don't know. I thought rabbits, bunnies, and hares were all the same thing.
Well, there's also jackrabbits.
Yeah, but jackrabbits, I think there is a difference. Aren't jackrabbits bigger?
I think so, but not quite as big as the kangaroo.
Well, thanks for dropping these knowledge bombs here, Wolf.
Isn't the kangaroo like a big type of rabbit? I mean, if you think about it, like, it seems like it's correct. Like, I mean,
I'm like, well, Wolf, a kangaroo is a marsupial, I believe in. and rabbits are not.
Wait, I think it's marsupial. Or is it marsupial?
I think it's marsupial. I don't know. Someone let us know on Twitter.
I'm sure Artosis knows.
We do know. Well, he would know, man. Artosis would know. What was the cast I had with him a long time ago? We were talking about
guinea pigs?
Guinea pigs, yes. And he knew the 6 breeds of guinea pigs. And I was just like, wow. Artie, like, you know your stuff, man.
I bet Artosis actually had a pet tarantula, too.
You know, if you knew Artosis when he was younger, he would strike me as a guy that would have a giant pet iguana or something like that.
Yeah.
But now he has a dog, and yeah, he's a dog guy now, actually, a little dog guy. By the way, into this game here, we got a Reaper coming out now.
Double Reaper build, in fact.
And we have the Zerg here that went for a quick pull, an Extractor, and is going for gas now to try to combat the Reaper. And this is a dance we've seen a lot in StarCraft II.
Yeah.
It's one where usually nothing but more than maybe a Ling is lost. Basically, at this level, they both play perfectly. But occasionally, things do fall apart. So let's see if we actually do get some kills here on drones, maybe, or a Reaper gets completely shut down.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You know, he wants to get that scouting information at the speed as well. And so far, actually, not quite able to really get over there. I might have seen the pool jiggling. He probably did, since he's not further investigating. And that's reasonably safe to assume there's no more gas being mined. There could be,
well, I mean,
we'll see it later.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to get gas any quicker, I mean, that would just be too many drones on gas and not enough on minerals. Nobody techs that fast, so...
Yeah, I mean, it would be crazy weird to see that.
Yeah. So he needs to drone up for the time being. And the Reapers come back here now, just playing it safe. The factory about halfway done here, and the barracks will make that reactor. The command center is being made in the safer spot, despite the fact that it was 3 Reaper opening here, and he did not harass with it. So that's interesting to see. Normally, I would feel like if we saw the Reapers go back to be there to defend the command center, but...
Well, you know, he goes 3 Reaper, which might lead Rogue to believe that he's going to do some really heavy pressure with Hellions and 3 Reapers to deny the 3rd base.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like the mind game here, because he's actually taking a fast 3rd CC.
I think he might be right, Wolf. I mean, it's a smart move by him to do that, if that's actually what he's going to do, because that he's not going to be able to scout that 3rd CC for a while. And you can see even the Reapers poking in here now. You can say, oh my God, the drone moving out. He should be able to get that drone. Oh. And he's actually going to kite these Lings here. And this 3rd hatch is going to be planted. And I really thought he was going to actually be able to get that drone there. But it looks like the Lings were too much of a threat. And now coming in from this other angle right now. In fact, he's got to be careful not to lose that Reaper. He loses 1. Things off to a fairly bad start here for Bunny.
Yeah, well, he's going to be able to escape with these 2 for now. That bunny hop up the up the cliff, and his Reapers are actually going to come back with those Hellions, but the hatchery should be secure. The creep isn't quite spread over there, but he's only got 2 Hellions, now to be 4, but he's got to send them across.
And he's putting some pressure on over here. It looks like we have some Lings coming up now from the right side.
Yeah,
try to go around.
So smart. Fortunately, not quite enough. Wasn't joined up with the rest of his Lings there. The hatchery shouldn't die, but I mean, it is taking some heavy hit point losses.
I can't imagine it gets picked off here. Really, this shouldn't have too much impact, really, on the game. I mean, the Lings are not full-on engaging. It looks like he was hoping to set up a trap there, but Bunny caught on to the fact, okay, there's no Lings attacking. He's clearly making more Lings now. I notice he's sending these Lings back over here. It looks like there's actually an interception here in the main. I believe he got one of the Reapers there. We didn't get a shot of it, but I believe he got that. And now the Hellions are coming up here and hitting this hatchery here. The Queen's moving up. And Link's coming in here to try to trap from behind.
I like that he keeps that 1 Reaper to spot that ramp. He knows if the Lings are coming that way or not, knows when he needs to get out. There's also a big giant octopus on this map in the middle.
Did you see Rotterdam when he was casting a Red Bull? And he was looking at that in the middle of the map, and it was the same thing as when you're playing Pokemon, you go, which Pokemon is it? Yeah. It's just a shadow of it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
He's actually going to get caught here. Do the Queens have enough DPS to finish these off? That's the question.
Well, he's actually doing a good job keeping all these Hellions, for the most part, alive. I mean, they're still dealing damage, even if they're all pretty low. And the drone's coming out now, but the drone's back up at the last second.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why he pulled those drones. He's actually totally fine here.
Okay, so the orbital's going to come down here at the 3rd.
It's about time, because he's pretty low on the worker count right now compared to Rogue. Rogue's been able to keep a small Ling count and still defend his 3rd base, still spread that creep over there. And with all of this, he really needs to start dropping mules and getting that saturation up because he's several harvesters behind. He's going to need that extra mule economy. He's going to need that extra saturation. And, you know, getting these 3 bases up as a Terran is great. You feel awesome. You're getting your upgrades out. And you just have to hold on to these for a little while and prevent the Zerg from taking up 4th base. That's really going to be the critical moment. Also, I love that he's repairing these, making sure they have a little bit more longevity in this game.
Yeah, well, he's going to need that, especially without any bunkers there just yet. We do have the Baneling's Nest just finishing. And, you know, with the 1-1 coming here, Burrow, Zerg is gearing up to have a pretty strong attack here later on in this game, pushing creep tumors forward right now. I do like the little wall-in up there with the 2 depots. Again, not much defense, though, here. It looks like he's going to be comfortable with just his army here. That may be a little bit too risky here. 1-1's going to finish up now. There are 14 links being made and banelings, and again, I'm just a little bit concerned if there's not at least some structural defense. I don't know how well he'll fare in a big attack. You do see that he sees just 3 of those banelings up there.
Yeah.
If he's really paying attention and caught that.
Yeah, I think that was the idea with the scan. He was like, how many banelings is he morphing? And he couldn't get a clear number, so he couldn't get a clear read, so he's a little bit timid to move out here. Because if there's, like, say, you know, 10 banelings or so on creep, he's not going to want to move out very aggressively. He doesn't want to go too far on the creep. So
we do have 1 medevac. We're probably going to need to see a second one over this before he can really push out and still pick up comfortably.
Yeah.
Notice that the Zerg is expanding in close proximity to the Terran. He doesn't have a lot of choices on that. But that is why he may have gotten a good amount of banelings early on there. Note Zerg, by the way, only going to have about 400 gas when the Spire finishes. Maybe a little bit more here. It's not quite done. But doesn't look like he's saved up for a ton of mutas. In fact, it's mostly banelings and links down here. And speaking of which, he now is engaging a nice little surround here, a pickup. One of the Hellbats taken out there. Zerg regroups. Queens continue to push down creep tumors, get into closer proximity. Another drop over here. Overlord speed is up, but it's not enough to get away in time.
No, it's definitely not. Baneling speed is done as well, which helped him a lot in that engagement. Picked up his Marines there at the last second and continued to pressure with them. Combat shields isn't done yet, so they don't have a lot of hit points. He's got to be careful. That's a lot of Queens.
Yeah, and not a lot of Marines now for Bunny as he lost all those in that 1 medevac. Medevac's pick up here. They're going to bump into the mutas, but there's still enough Marines over here until those links can get over there and help defend. It's not going to be enough.
Yep, going to have to pick up and drop out again. Try to see if he can target down one of those mutas maybe. Queens are actually fighting against these Stim Marines. He might be able to escape with some of those if he's on top of it. Looks like no, he's more concerned about this drop over here.
You know, Bunny's already losing a lot of Medevacs and not really doing any damage here. Push now continues forward. I got to say, Rogue's creep spread's really good. I'm really liking how he's playing this game.
It's super thick, too.
Yeah, it a lot of creep tumors here. You can see he just runs out of scans right there. He's going to try to take this out, but I think it wouldn't be too hard for the Zerg to push creep back over there again. He wants to get these Medevacs. Medevacs picking up. Zerg regroups.
Nice boost away there.
Yeah.
A few Marauders being added in the mix as well now.
You know what I wonder, though, is that because there was some pressure there early on, and even the Zerg making Banelings and Lings early, I thought he was going to do an attack, but it looked like it was more to preempt the possibility of a Terran attack. The Terran's supply is almost even with the Zergs. We saw a little boost a second ago, but you can see Zerg's Zerg's actually already getting further and further ahead. But Terran's not that far off as it would be in some games. So Terran macroing pretty well here. We're going to see the Zerg get a 5th base here with Terran now taking a 4th in this location. It's going to be pretty tough for the Zerg to hit that angle over there, upper right.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the reasons why I like this map. It's my favorite map of the pool right now. In this matchup, you can sometimes have games where the Terran actually takes a 4th base and is okay to just do that because it's far enough away, and then Zerg has to take a 5th. This drop will be cleaned up right away here, no losses whatsoever. But the map is just so big, there's so much terrain you can work with. Really good splits here against these Banes, just making the trades inefficient. But this base, Planetary isn't quite ready yet. Can he save it? I think so, with these units coming over here, forcing the Lings to run away, but not before he kills a lot of SCVs.
All right, the mutas are coming up here now. Again, a lot of medevacs are being picked off here and there for Bunny, which really hurts considering he's not doing any damage to pay that off. And if you can execute these SCVs over, the SCVs now trying to evacuate.
Oh!
Look at this, he can actually crash that right into that army down there.
Not a bad
Notice
trade.
again, another medevac picked off.
He's losing so many of these, but he keeps remaking that it has to.
He's actually still got 7 out, but yeah, he's lost like a lot of medevacs around here. And look at this. Zerg's actually going to send Lings over here with the mutas. Lings just to the right of this to try to snipe this expansion. He sees it's a planetary. He turns that around, but he is hitting the Terran's reinforcements over here. Terran may have to turn around. He may try to go forward. Okay, Terran definitely has to turn around now, even though some of his army has not done that. And with these mutas actually pushing in here, I think Rogue's hitting him in too many locations at once.
He's having a really hard time, man.
He can even go south here. Yeah, he can go right over to where that
planetary go right over
is.
here. There's no Widow Mines, to my knowledge, at that base, so that's going to be a big problem against these mutas.
I think Terran's just been picked apart. I mean, he's getting hit from so many locations here.
No splits on those army units.
Pretty soon, no SCVs at this base. I mean,
This
that
base goes down.
Yeah, I think we just saw everything spiral out of control for Terran, and I'm trying to imagine him like recuperating here, Wolf. I just don't see it happening.
Here's the way. The way is to, well, first of all, he needs to clean up these mutas, but he has still a large army, and it's going to have 3-3 first. If he could somehow muster a push together, you know, he's got to take an engagement. Obviously, his economy is in tatters, but if he can just hold on a little bit longer.
No way. GG,
he's not even going to try it, man. He's at an 89 supply.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, Rogue handled that really, really well back there.
He really didn't have like,
me.
you know, he really didn't have like very many units left at all. I was actually looking at this thing, I'm like, no, maybe he's still got an army. He hasn't typed out like. And it's actually pretty rare to see a Terran take a 4th base against a Zerg who's on a 4th.
Well, you know, I thought the 4th base was okay because it was tucked away like that, but I mean, let's talk about the medevacs that were lost there that weren't doing any damage. There was a lot of moments where really Rogue was just absorbing the Terran's armory like the blob or something, getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And at the very end there, I mean, there was so much going on. Terran fell apart. But I do think most of the mistakes there were with Terran early on with the harass and the medevacs, and he just didn't have the bulk there to face off his opponent in the end game. The map choice here for Bunny is going to be Nimbus. If Rogue loses on this map, Rogue gets the final map choice.
Yeah, I think this is an idea based upon that at non-cross spawns on Nimbus, you actually have a lot of you know, attack routes that you can attack with very easy. It's tough to take a 4th base as a Zerg on this map, and it's really easy as the Terran to just constantly be aggressive. They're having a lot of map changes announced, by the way. I guess we can talk about that a little bit later, but I don't think they're going to be out by the end of Code A. They'll probably be out afterwards, because usually that's how career releases work.
We are now going to go into this game number 2 here between these two players. This game number 2.